morning. This is SME Unleashed, our edition for today, the 23rd of September. I'm here, Raymond Mutura. My colleagues may join us later, Edwin and Yahweh, particularly Edwin, Dr. Obonyo. So this is Raymond Mutura, Center for Research on Organizations, Work and Family. And today we have a guest. I will introduce him and then maybe he can just say a word. He's Eugene Ngugi. He's a managing director of Planning Interiors Limited. And his work and his business is focused on interior design. Yeah. So maybe Eugene, you can say something. You can greet the audience.
Good morning. First of all, Raymond and team, thank you for this opportunity. Like you mentioned, I'm Eugene Ngugi. I'm an interior designer by profession. It's also my business and my passion. And I've been involved in it now since 1987. So that would be how many years? Over 30-something years.
30-something years.
Yes. So I'm becoming a bit of an OG in this profession, but I'm glad to be here.
Karibu sana. Karibu, Eugene. So I think what we are going to do is to try and understand that journey of your interior design and also just aligning it to entrepreneurship.
Yes.
I'm not very sure. Already in 87, there were those courses of interior design.
No, it was a general design degree in campus. I joined campus 1984. I'd wanted to do architecture, but didn't get the points, so I ended up doing design. Now, when I finished my degree course in 1987, I got a job with a design firm that did both graphics and interiors.
Design firm?
Yes.
I thought those days everything was just you're an architect or you're an engineer.
This firm was called Communication Graphics. It started out as a graphic design company, actually set up by someone who did design at the university.
In the same university? University of Nairobi.
The same university. So even though, because that was before, in those days, interiors used to be done by architects mainly. It was not a very developed profession. Yeah. So when he set up his graphic design firm, he also had a passion for interiors and decided to start it as a business. So because before I went to university, I'd worked for an architect's firm in preparation to do architecture.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That's
so
nice.
So when
my students should hear this.
So when I finished campus, those days there was jobs galore. Everyone was employed within a month. So within 2 weeks, I joined this firm. So he said, look, you have a bit of a architectural background. We have an interior design department. So I joined the interior design department, and that's where my career started. So I worked with, so what he did, ironically, is at the end of that year, 1987, he closed down the graphic design side and decided to focus on interiors and renamed his company House of Interiors. So that's how I started. So I was part of a team he had built for that.
Okay.
So I worked there for 5 years. And then in 1992, I got an interview with an architect's firm now called Planning Systems Services that had also set up an interior design department. So I joined. They had gotten a couple of expatriates from the UK. So I joined their team as someone who knew what was happening locally.
Yeah.
So I worked as part of the team until 1995 when the partners at Planning Systems decided to make me the head of the department. Yeah. So from 1995 till 2002, I ran the interior design department for them. So I was a senior designer. 2002, the partners at Planning System Services decided they wanted to focus on architecture, and they said, look, Eugene, this interior design department, you've run it pretty well the last 6-7 years. Why don't you give a shot running it as a business? So my entrepreneurship journey, I would say, started strictly speaking in 2003 when I took over Planning Interiors as a separate company.
Okay. Do these companies still exist? Planning Interior?
Planning Systems.
What is the other one?
House of Interiors. Yes, it still exists.
They still exist.
Planning Systems still exists, even though the partners have long retired.
Yeah.
So some of the younger architects they'd had now still run it as a firm. So planning systems, in a sense, were my parents. So if you treat the analogy, if you will, when you finish campus and you leave the home to start your own, but you still come visiting every now and then, is very similar because we still do work together with planning systems on occasion.
Just a bit of understanding
Yes.
the landscape then, and well, we don't have to go into too much detail, but interior design these days, we know it's a hot topic.
Yes.
But those days, I thought once the house was up, no one ever cared about interior design. You just brought furniture.
Yeah, that's
So was that the reason why your guys told you, look, just go and focus on this thing? Maybe it's not making too much money.
Well, I think what had happened for them, because they were in their 60s and I think they had made their money. They had an illustrious career. Planning systems had done well. So they were actually succession planning and pulling back.
Okay.
And when I ran the interior design section as a department, it was pretty autonomous. They weren't involved in it at all. So they said, look, you guys have run this pretty independently. So, if you go on your own, then that's fine. Now, the interior design we did, maybe to distinguish it from what you're saying, which is more interior decoration, was more commercial. So we did work, we did a lot of commercial office interiors, work for banks, for hotels, for restaurants as well. We actually used to do very few residences. And even now, I would say residential work would constitute less than 10% of
Sorry,
of the
you
work we
say
do.
what? The interior design is not the same as interior decoration.
Decoration is, people know, it's colors and finishes and sofas and whatever.
Me, I thought that is what interior design is.
Interior decoration can be considered as a component of interior design.
Okay.
But now the work we do is very technical. So if you think of it as if an architect does a building, for example, with planning systems, we did Citibank. So planning systems designed the building.
There, it's a beautiful building.
Yes, we did the interiors, the offices, the partitioning, the furniture, the finishes, and that sort of thing. So over the years, interior design has grown to become a very technical profession. But what has also grown, if I compare now with, say, 20 years ago, is there's a lot more competition. Back then, there were very few interior design firms, and we're the only independent one. The other 2 or 3 interior designers that were considered for commercial projects were departments of architects firms, ironically. We were the only ones who'd been built by planning systems with autonomy, which was a plus for me, because when I took it over, functionally or operationally, I was running it the same way as a department. But now I need to worry about the HR issues, the tax issues.
Let's go there, because and I think that's interesting for people who probably are having to jump into entrepreneurship. So how did that span out? Because also, we know that when you're technical in a field, the temptation is you focus all your attention on the technicalities. And, you'll be probably focused on the interior design principles, concepts, and the things that you need to do, as opposed to running a business. So how was that for you?
For me, it was a rude wake-up call. I think my first year in business, even when I look back, it was one of the roughest years I ever had, because I had to learn a whole lot very fast. But fortunately for me, the partners at Planning Systems allowed their accountant to continue working with me. So I paid him separately. So basically what he did is he set up a separate system for us.
So you use the same accounting system,
same accounting systems and everything, so that even when I was able to hire an accountant, because that was one of the first of my hires, this accountant was not setting up a system anew. He was taking over an existing one. So even learning, about KRA issues, employment contracts, because you see the contracts my team were with planning systems. So we had to end those and start new ones. I think also when I looked at the way my former bosses ran the business, because of certain ethical issues I had, I also felt I need to run this business differently. So one of the benefits of having run the department then is I saw the way they run the business and look, fine, if I get the opportunity, I will do this and that and the other differently.
Interesting. So already you kind of had an accountant, so your
Yes.
financial manenos were sorted.
Well,
Well,
no,
at least
not sorted, but
KRA and a few things.
yes, a
You had
few
an
things.
accounting system.
Yes,
really.
I was
Yeah.
not starting entirely from scratch.
yeah.
That is true. That is very true. But I think what I also didn't know is that there are differences between accountants and financial advisors. A lot of your basic accountants do what you tell them to. They may not be equipped to advise you on financial matters, financial strategy, on investments, management accounts. They may not help you look at your annual accounts and make sense of them and take decisions for the future. So
So
soon,
they'll just produce accounts.
yes, they'll produce accounts and leave it to you to interpret them.
Interpret it. Yeah.
So for me, being the designer and creative person I was, it was Greek, So to jump, I also did in the 90s, I remember a course in finance for non-finance managers.
So you decided, this I need to do.
Yes, because I had friends who had been fleeced by their accountants, fellow creatives. There was one guy, I remember, his accountant took off with quite a bit of money. And I said, I know accounts and finances are not my thing, but I need to learn something,
So you actually went to school to do finance for non-finance, or how did you do it?
It was a course. I think it was a 1-week course.
It was those days KPMG used to do a lot of courses. Some of these
this one was
consulting
KCAA or something like that.
KCAA.
Yes, they had some basic courses.
The pilots.
I think so. I remember because it was at Safari Park, a 1-week course. And it was done by a body,
Okay.
So, segueing into, I know I'm jumping forward a bit.
Yeah.
But one of the main reasons I joined OMP was actually starting with owner-manager. So I own the business. I need to learn how to manage it well. So those two essentials.
Yeah, but you're starting your business in 2003.
Yes.
You joined OMP
in 2010.
So let's talk about these 7 years.
Yes.
As an entrepreneur. So the first thing is you already have, you could say, the benefit of an accountant.
Yes.
The benefit of an accounting system.
Yes.
So how does it eventually go through until the point you say, oh, I also need OMP?
Yes. What we did, the other grace I was extended by my former parent company is that we didn't move out of the offices physically for about a year. So what we did is we cost shared. And that really helped me because I was able to see some of the costs they had because we used to operate in a residential house.
Yeah.
And I realized some of the overheads associated with living in a residential house. Those are the days of regular power blackouts. So you had to have a generator. You have gardens, so you have to maintain the gardens. Security those days was an issue.
Yeah.
So by the time I was moving, because from the beginning of 2003 to early 2004, we were sort of guests. Like how you stay at home for a year before you find your own place.
Yeah.
So 2004 now, when I was looking for where we were going to move to, I'd already decided, one, I'm not going to move to another house.
You'll go to a proper office.
A proper office. One, because we do office interiors.
Yes.
So we need to be able to have people come to where we are. So where we practice what we preach. Because where we were before was a house somewhere in Lower Kabete. Two, it needs to be more central so that my team that goes out to meet clients, it's more central. And I found one of the benefits of being in office space is that, all you're paying is service charge. So they take care of your water, your generator, your security.
Security is taken care of.
Yeah, so that was more convenient for us.
So where did you move to? From a residential to? What was your first office?
And in fact, where I moved to, this building, Roshanmaya place where we are, is the same place I've been for the last 22 years. Yeah. We've had very good landlords who've been very patient with us when we are not able to pay the rent of time. We've grown and expanded. So we started off with one wing at our top size. So we started off a team of about seven or eight staff. So we moved about 5 or 6 designers with my accountant. Then I had a driver and a receptionist. And then
You're doing well. All those, that's a big payroll.
well, relatively. When I was looking at it compared to the overhead of planning systems, we started quite compactly. And I think those days you had to have a receptionist, you had to have someone type letters,
a
and
messenger,
you had to have a driver,
messenger.
Yes. So actually I had a receptionist, I had a driver,
You had a messenger,
and a tea lady.
Yeah.
So that was it
standard.
back in the day. Yes, and you have your fax machine and you type letters and filing, those days. So there was a lot of administrative overhead around there. So from 2003 to 2012, we really grew as a business. We started getting lots of work. We started growing. I started hiring. But
a lot of your business also came, with the relationship with planning system, you always got the interior jobs. Or not necessarily?
Not necessarily, because that's an interesting thing about brand. One of the things planning systems did differently from the other architects firms who set up interior design departments is from 1993, they almost set planning interiors up as a separate brand. So the work we would get as planning interiors was because of our reputation as planning interiors. More than half our clients did not even know that we were part of planning systems.
Oh, they didn't know?
They didn't. So when we separated out,
it was just seamless.
It was, relatively seamless. So most of the clients we had from before just continued with us. The only difference is now, instead of paying planning systems, because the money all used to go in one pot, we had to open accounts and pay planning interiors. And there was also some work we were still doing together with planning systems, but we continued doing that together. So by 2004, we were completely
independent.
Completely independent, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And by then, what, more or less, if you look at the trajectory of your staff,
yes,
or your payroll, how was it? 2003, you start to driver this, that. Then how do you grow? And what makes you grow? And what makes you want to employ more? And what makes you
I think
get business and so on?
Essentially, demand for our services. So, those were the Kibaki era, and business started to really grow in the country. So banks were growing. More and more people were moving to new offices. Businesses were growing. We had international companies coming to Kenya, so looking for offices. So there was a lot of demand for our services. In 2005, we decided to do a bit of hospitality work, hotel work. So we got to do some work for Serena Hotels. We got to do some work for 3. So by 2006, 2007, we set up a separate department just to focus on hospitality and residential and things like that. So we from a team of about 8-9 people in 2004, by 2014 we had a business of 38. So now we were 2 companies. We had planning interiors, hospitality. We set it up as a separate company. And what I realized by 2008, 2009, this now monster was becoming more about management and less about design. So around between now 2007 and 2010 is when I realized I am not prepared to run this business. So that's when I started looking for ways of equipping myself.
So what would be 2-3 things that made you feel you're not prepared? One is, of course, the thing is big. Already you have two specialization, the hospitality one and then the design.
Yes.
So what was it? What was prompting you to say, look, I need more knowledge?
Yes, it's service delivery. And when I realized, because you see with interior design, yes, we do design, but essentially we are running projects. So the more projects you're running, the more management capacity you need to run those projects.
Because you need to deliver on time.
You need to deliver on time. You need to deliver consistently.
And to be paid.
Yes, and be paid. So you realize that one accountant is also not able to manage, because you also need to grow your systems to manage this. You have HR. You need to develop systems and processes around that. I mean, my wife is an HR consultant, so she helped me initially with setting up systems and processes. But I realized very quickly that I needed a whole lot of help that I was not equipped to do.
So where did you look?
Well, what happened around that time, I basically worked with friends. So if I have a friend who's a finance guy in this organization, I sit with him and get some advice. With HR, I had my wife with project management. I started hiring project managers to help run the projects and books.
Did you get the right people for? Because your key was project management.
So the projects, functionally speaking, were projects. So you had project managers working with designers to deliver the project. So it just became this big animal that I realized what I'm running here is a business first that delivers, whose product is design. Where although I started out as a design firm, doing just what I'm passionate about. So 2007, 2010, I realized we were doing a lot of work for banks. So you find a bank maybe in 1 year is doing about 15 branches. So you need teams
to go. And some of the branches are not in Nairobi.
Yes, some of the branches are not in Nairobi and what have you. So I also had to start working in partnership with other consultants. So I'd work with a project management firm that could lend capacity. I started working with quantity surveying firms, engineering firms that formed these teams. So there's a whole lot of leadership of teams that were managing projects fundamentally. So changing that shift, I would read a lot of books, business books and that sort of thing to help me grow. But by 2009, 2010, I'd taken on 2 directors, senior members of staff that it took on as directors. But also I realized I was not set up to, because these were basically good employees that I had put in leadership. But they didn't necessarily have the business acumen or the commitment to put in the sweat equity that I had put in. So I'd set up a lot. So when they were coming in when
things are already set up.
So with that one, with one director, it didn't end well. He left and started his own business. The other one didn't stay for much longer. She left and went on her own. So I also learned a lot of hard lessons around business partnerships as well.
Okay, was this before you did the course now?
This was during. So now when I was doing the course, I still had the other 2 directors.
Okay, fantastic. So we probably can stop there and just when we come back, we'll probably talk about your journey to OMP.
Yes.
For the listeners who may not know OMP is the Owner Managers Program. It's a program we have in Strathmore Business School, and we'll probably get to hear more after the break. So this is SME Unleashed, and I'm here, Raymond Mutura from the Center for Research and Organization Work and Family, and our guest,
Eugene Ngugi.
Yeah, from Planning
Interiors Limited.
Okay.
Yes.
We'll see you after a break. Thank you. Okay, welcome back. This is Raymond Mutura from Center for Research on Organizations, Work and Family. We are finally joined by Dr.
You know, what do you mean finally joined? I'm part and parcel of this show.
You're not here on part 1, so you're finally joining us.
Yes, part 2, yes. So this is Dr. Edwin Obonyo from Strathmore Center for Value Investing.
And we have our guests.
Eugene Ngugi, Planning Interiors Limited.
Okay. So the first part...
Wait a minute.
Okay.
So is it me who's welcomed? Or because I'm late? Or do we welcome you? How does it...
No, as we've been talking, we've been okay. We're wondering what you're trying to do here.
So I thought maybe you're saying now you're welcoming me.
Okay, we are welcoming you, Dr. Obonyo.
Okay,
you know, you're in a university and the doctors are important people.
Don't go crazy. Don't go crazy.
So welcome back to part 2 of the session. Before we took a break, we just went through the journey, the entrepreneurial journey, both professional and entrepreneurial journey of Eugene Ngugi. You don't have a title as interior designers. You're not engineer or interior designer.
No, we don't have that yet.
Na vile mnafanya kazi mingi.
Wait, is there an association?
No, now we have an interior design chapter within Architects AAK.
Okay.
There's also an interior designers association called IDAC.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Kenyan or
Kenyan,
global?
yes.
So all of you are in there?
Well, a number of us are in there.
So are you in both or you lean towards your architects?
Lean towards... There was actually an association in the late 90s called Design Society of Kenya.
Oh, it existed.
Yes, back then. And I was the first chairman of Design Society of Kenya. So That time it had different chapters. So it had an interiors chapter, a fashion chapter, a graphics chapter. So now there is IDAC.
But that sounded interesting.
Yeah,
It
that's
didn't
what I'm
continue. What
no,
happened?
you see now for me, those are some of the things. Leadership. There's a leadership gap and a sponsorship gap. Actually, I think I should write about some of these experiences.
Of course.
I mean, I'm also just on top of that. So is it still there or it died?
No, it died. It died. You see, it was led by me. You know, something you guys talked about succession planning.
Yes.
Yes. So some of those fundamental principles of succession planning, I did not.
So you led it, but then you handed it over at some point.
No,
I imagine
it died with me.
it actually died with you.
Literally died. I had it. We had it for about 5 or 6 years.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Yes, we even engaged with the Ministry of Culture. I even got to travel as the chairman to represent Kenya in a few countries. But when it came back, you know, an organization needs funding, it needs support, it needs administration.
Okay, I see.
Because I was running it out of my business.
Yeah. Then at some point you got tired.
Yes, I
or-
got fatigue. Donor volunteer fatigue. Yes.
Okay,
yes.
I know that's a topic we can discuss in
Yes.
another forum, the issue of association and
Yes.
you could say networks.
Yes.
But let's jump into why OMP. And again, for the listeners, OMP is Owner Managers Program.
Owner Manager Program, yeah.
Owner Managers Program. You are the how is
The
it?
first cohort.
Inaugural cohort
Yes, that's right.
in 2010.
In 2010, that's
So
right.
how did you discover that
how
it
did
even
I
existed?
hear about it?
Yeah.
I need to remember. I think someone had heard of it and told me about it. Because actually, I was originally going to join Fast Forward.
Fast forward.
Yes, I know you've heard of the Sunny Bindra leadership.
Oh, Sunny Bindra, yeah.
Yes,
I don't know whether
yes.
This was in 2010.
This is in 2010,
Oh,
yes.
yeah, this one, okay.
Yes. He started it a few years before. And a lot of prominent leaders and CEOs of some of the clients, our clients, used to go for Fast Forward. So I thought it would be a good idea to learn about leadership from someone my client leaders respect. So for a number of reasons, I didn't get to go for that course. Then someone told me about OMP. So when I was given some of the details, it sounded to me like MBA 101.
Yeah.
Because around that time, my children were small, I was running the business, and I had toyed around with the idea of doing an MBA, but I just didn't have time. So this looked like a really good in-between. So introduced to some of the basic things. The other thing I liked was the course structure, you know, the 4 days
And then you
every
go
3 or
back.
4 months, and then you go back and
We call it modular program.
yes, so
That's
you
the
try
term
and
we use.
so you try and practice and implement what
Yes.
you've learned. So I like that as well. The other draw for me is that it was a break from the business, you know, because now there you are struggling alone, trying to run your, you know, that lonely at the top syndrome. But here now you're coming together with others who have similar issues or challenges they're facing. So that was a real appeal to me. Yeah.
All right. So
This is very interesting. I mean, I'm keen on the last part, which is lonely at the top.
Yes.
No one ever understands that. Only founders.
Yes.
And so sometimes the story is not really told about that aspect of it being lonely at the top.
Yeah.
So was it that difficult for you?
It was because I felt very inadequate. One, because my idea of a strong business leader is also a strong personality type. Someone who is assertive, someone who doesn't take crap from clients or suppliers, and someone who is a get things done sort of person. But for me, because I'm a designer at heart, still a designer at heart, I'm more of an artistic, sensitive background team member sort of person. So I was sort of thrust into this leadership position where I had to swim, so to speak. So at the top, you also feel there's no space to be vulnerable because people are looking up to you. Your employees are looking up to you. Your clients are expecting you to demonstrate leadership in their projects and what have you. So there's a lot of stress around holding that burden of it.
yeah.
And as a founder as well, you know, your heart is also with your business. You don't want it to fail. You want it to grow and things like that. So you're alone in your thoughts a lot of the time. So coming to MP, I also really like the variety of businesses people are running. Some people are running family businesses. Like I mentioned to Raymond, we had one of my classmates, someone I was in school with, who runs a myriad of businesses, and another one who ran a $1 billion shilling organization. So there's a whole cross section of people. The other thing that gave me comfort is that these were just individuals who set up these businesses and were trying to make them succeed.
Yeah.
I would say of the 14 of us, only 2 or 3 of us.
So you were 14. So
yeah,
the
we're 14.
inaugural class was a class
14.
of 14.
Yes. So
We need to tap to those 14. They need to come here.
He's the one who's going to link us up to the 14.
You lead us
Yes.
to each
I
of
don't
the
know.
14.
Are you still in contact with the other
Well,
13?
we still have a WhatsApp group.
Imagine.
Ah,
We
okay.
still have a WhatsApp
So
Of the
group,
14 of you.
Yeah, most of us are still on it. Yeah,
interesting. Nice.
yeah, and we've met. We meet one. I would say once a year. Yeah,
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Good. So Eugene can link us up to others.
sure.
Yeah.
No, sure.
Wow.
But then you were trying to say something about the 14. So the 14 number caught my eye.
Yes, because I think they originally got 16 people. Two
Yeah.
people dropped out. Because I think that's the other attractiveness about the modular nature of it.
Yeah.
Is that if you're really busy in your business, you could set aside the 4 days.
Yeah.
And you're not only looking at it as a learning opportunity, you're looking at it also as a break from the hustle
As
of
a
running a
break.
business,
Interesting.
but also catching up with others, because we also found interesting the guests they used to bring, people in industry, and the case studies we used to do. I
Yeah.
found those really interesting as well. And then also now we started forming little groups. So we formed little advisory boards to one another. So that was also fun as well as visiting each other's businesses as well. That was good. One of our modules was in Lagos.
Yes.
So
But I was about to ask whether you used to
lot
have a
of fun.
module in Lagos.
Yeah, we did. We did. We found that very interesting, just how culturally different it is, how loud our classmates
Aggressive
are, and
Nigerian
aggressive and
entrepreneurs.
flashy. I think we learned a lot. Nigerians are real hustlers. So we just
And
felt so-
flashy.
and flashy.
They'll
yes.
show it.
Yes, the designer bags on the desks. So it just made our female classmates feel very, So those cultural differences were, we found it. It was just
How
very
did
interesting.
this help you with this idea of lonely at the top? How did you begin feeling?
I just felt understood, identified with. The community does a lot of things for you, not only mentally, but emotionally as well. Because one, you feel you're not alone. Two, you have people who give you unique perspectives on the challenges you face. Because you find culturally in offices, you may have a management team.
Yeah.
But here, culturally, we are not...
Mukubwa is there.
Yes,
You're
even
not
if you have
supposed
an
to-
idea or
yes.
suggestion or a critique, usemi chochote, you just sit. So those are some of the things I learned, is that you can read a lot from business books, and say in the West they talk about team building, team this and that and the other. But I found a lot of what I learned technically from books don't apply here
To
because of
day-to-day.
that day-to-day cultural differences. The business environment here is also very tough. So you read a certain book and you say, oh, if I follow step A, B, C, D, this should work. And you find there are certain practical constraints here that,
It's very, very interesting. One of the things we've been talking through with all the students or participants in our courses is when we usually say that sometimes the founder is the ceiling. And it's interesting what you're talking about, because one of the issues they face is that sometimes the people in your business want to share ideas, want to give you ideas of how to cut costs, how to grow, but they're afraid that even if they say it, you'll overrun them or you'll overrule them as
You're
the
the founder.
Yeah,
because it's your business.
yeah,
And I guess that speaks to what you've just been talking about as to
yeah,
why you came and joined
yeah.
OMP to kind of learn how to deal with that.
Yes, and like I told Raymond, I've had fellow directors in the past, and there was still that you are the mkubwa component as well. So you'd find that because I'd come in and I'd built the business to a certain level, And by the time I was joining, we didn't bootstrap and build the business together. They were coming in as fellow directors with posts and responsibilities, but still looked to me to provide the leadership, to provide that guidance. So we'd have directors meetings, and most of the information would be prepared by myself and my finance and admin manager, because by the time I was starting on OMP, I already had now a finance and administration manager and an accounts department. So it had grown like that. So it's like me and the FAM were running the business, and these guys were just here to provide technical support as it were. So my intent was to bring in business partners. But I realized that when you talk about mindset, if you can promote a very technically competent person to a role of director, but if the mindset doesn't shift to from senior employee to business partner,
it becomes a bottleneck.
It becomes a bottleneck. You might as well not have promoted that person. I've learned that the hard way.
So tell us a bit about that, because there's a lot of, when the entrepreneurs come to us, many of them are coming with a mind of saying, I need to professionalize. That is one idea we have around in the market. I need to professionalize. Another one that is very common is you need to bring people from outside. And then another one that is common, and also we have summarized it in our little idea, is you need governance. And governance means you probably need a board. You need to structure a board. So here you are from a practical point. Did these ideas work? You say on one hand, you're promoting from within to get directors. Any other ideas, learnings? What had happened when you tried?
A ton of learnings. I think from around 2007, when I realized the business was growing, and I also got to maybe working back, was saying I need to professionalize. Maybe that's the first thing I told myself in 2006. 2006 is when I started hiring consultants, strategy consultants. I remember I had someone who was working for PwC. So I was saying, fine, I have this design
hired
firm,
or
as a consultant,
to assist you with strategy.
Assist us with strategy, with structure and things like that. I was trying to move out of the business to work on the business. But I realized I didn't have the skills or training to do that. And I didn't have the time to take off and do an MBA and come back. So I said the next best thing is maybe surround myself with people who can help me structure and build this business to manage the growth we're experiencing organically. So when I think about SMEs, a lot of us end up growing organically as opposed to in a planned fashion. So we're always reacting. You start a business out of your home, the garage. I was telling my brother-in-law runs a podcast as well, and he also interviews entrepreneurs. So there was this lady who started producing some healthy herb-based product out of her garage. Before she knew it, demand was so high. She was running around now looking for transport systems to deliver. So always playing catch up. So, and a lot of us, I think, are caught in that. We don't go in intending to grow this business to become what it is. And when I think about, because you brought it up in your podcast, is what limits us. It's the mindset. Very few of us going in thinking or believing that this is going to become a big it's going to become a big thing.
But inevitably, you actually can't. You're an entrepreneur, you're an innovator. So you can only say, okay, I want to innovate, and I want to innovate in this. So is there... Okay, you probably have gone through the whole journey of being an innovator and then eventually realizing, okay, there is a problem of mindset. So if you look at an entrepreneur today, or if you want to advise an entrepreneur, or some of the ones who are still in this catching up, what would you say needs to adjust?
I guess what, in other words, I'll put also in another way is, I've grown it for a decade. But now I'm listening to Eugene's episode, and they said maybe I need to get back to think properly, meaning now look at it as a growth way. And start putting things in place for the business to grow. How do we...
When I look back, it's maybe start with I would call it a corporate advisory team. Because there's a founder, there are two aspects of it. You're growing the business in terms of getting more work, more business, more interesting projects. But you realize at the end of the day, you are delivering a service to your clients and customers.
Yeah.
And one of the things I remember one risk assessment consultant told me is one of the things you need to get out of your head, Eugene, is your business is not special. Because we think our business, this is what I'm providing here, is so special. It is not subject to the rules and realities of how our business is run. Because a lot of us start out just doing what we're passionate about and forgetting that, for you to continue doing what you love, you have to have
the rules around how it is done.
Yes, it needs to be
which is a business rule.
Business. So in fact, in the mid 2015s, I developed a new motto: good design is good for business. We tell our clients that if you have nice office interiors, it'll be good for your business. Your productivity will go up, your brand, image will go up as well. So it's good for your business. So us as designers appreciate and are sensitive to some of those things. And in the product we give you, that is going to enhance your business. So I realize it has to cut both ways. This good design work we're providing our clients has to be good for our business as well. So when I look at the fundamentals of the problems I was trying to solve, is can I create a business that can ensure that this good design we're providing is good for us as well? So now when it got to the level of a board, I'd had a strategic management consultant whom I worked with for about a year. Because I also realized
this is the PwC one.
No, this was someone else.
Okay.
PwC was earlier. Between 2006, when I had my first consultant, in 2010, I would hire someone, bring them in. They'd come in for 2 weeks, give you some advice. I even did balance scorecard. I got a consultant. I paid a small fortune. Then I realized
fortune.
Yes, hundreds of thousands of shillings. Quite some time. But I was that passionate about getting my business to work properly. I wanted it to succeed because I also felt called by God to build this, because I had a vision for the business. So I wanted to do whatever it took to ensure the business succeeded. And I think also during those days, and I think that's the other thing founders forget, is we also end up paying ourselves last and what have you. So those are some of the setups for failure. Because if you don't ensure that you, at the very least, your needs are met, then the fundamental aspect of the business is failing.
Because you're not making money for yourself.
Yes.
Looks like you're a
say,
broke
okay, it's
guy.
okay, the next 3 months I'll go without a salary. I must make sure other people are paid. But if that doesn't point to a fundamental problem with your business and the way you've structured it financially, then you're looking at this through rose-colored glasses.
Yeah.
And a lot of us as founders do that. We are not able to see reality as it is. I had a consultant come and tell me, Eugene, when I look at your accounts for the last 2 years, I don't even know why you're still open. You have been auctioned. If you take this to, say, potential investors, you will not get a single investor. Your investors will say, just get out while you can and pack it in. So faith in the business is another key value founders bring. So you're able to push through a lot of difficulties and challenges, objective viewers would say, but you do need a balance because so many businesses go
bust.
I
guess, and before we go for a break, at least you're bringing it out clearly, which is that outside voice. Because as you were saying, usually we run with that 3-pronged framework, which is number one is the mindset, then followed by the processes and systems, and then followed by governance. And usually the governance part is just to do that, give that outside voice and say, hey, listen, is this the right path? Have you really considered this path as the best one? And have you considered this other alternative? So at least you're bringing it out clearly that outside perspective is very crucial for founders, based on your experience. So we are going to take a short break again. This is Dr. Edwin Obonyo back with a bang from Strathmore Center for Value Investing.
This is Raymond Mutura. Am I back with a bang like you?
No, last week you had Mutura Enterprises. So you pick.
We had Mutura Enterprises.
Pick what it is this you're going to do this week.
Today I'm a consultant. Since Eugene has talked about consultants a lot. And we have our guest.
Eugene Ngugi, Planning Interiors.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we take a break.
This is Edwin Obonyo, PhD. I've changed it. From Strathmore Center for Value Investing. Welcome back, listeners. This is SME Unleashed.
This is Raymond Mutura from the Center for Research and Organizations, Work and Family. Ati Edwin, PhD. You just call yourself doctor. Why are you complicating things?
Let's allow the guests to speak as well.
And I'm Eugene Ngugi, Planning Interiors Limited. Glad to be back.
Okay. So, listening to the first part, you talked about your journey, and one of it, you say that between 2003 and 2012, you really grew.
Yeah.
I guess now we are going to speak about after, because that's from
post-OMP.
Yes, that's post-OMP.
Yes.
Because a lot of things, that's around 13 years. 2012 to 2025 is around 13 years.
Yes.
So whoever was born in 2012 now is finishing class 8.
Those are they the Gen Zs? Gen Zs is from 19.
No, this one's Alpha. Please keep up.
Okay.
So I guess you can just tell us how has it been
post-OMP.
Yes, post-OMP. Yeah.
Yes, so I think one of the main things OMP armed me with is perspective on the business. We learned various things. We learned about branding. We learned about strategy. We learned about markets and what have you. And I think that OMP really helped expand my ambition, as it were, for the business. So as a result of OMP is why I also set up, another business. So we had a hospitality division of our firm. We spun that off into a separate company and we grew.
I would like you to tell us more about that.
Yeah.
What does that mean, a separate company? Because a lot of entrepreneurs we get also spring out many companies. In fact, every time you ask them, okay, so what business has brought you X? When you start talking to them, you hear another 4 or 5 companies.
Yes.
What spun that out, and what comment would you have on this idea of entrepreneurs having 3, 4, 5, 6 things they're doing?
Of course, on the opposite is, and this is actually one of the studies I'm currently doing, which is, should founders focus or should they diversify? Because the African diversifies, but in real life, all the businesses that have grown have focused. So that's, I guess, what he's asking.
What I should have focused, not diversified. Because you see, even to diversify...
You should have focused, not diversified.
Not diversified.
Even when you're looking at hospitality.
Yes.
Oh, really?
Because in hindsight, relax.
In hindsight, yes. Because you see, the thing is, when I look back at the benefit I had running Planning Interiors as a department within Planning System Services, because that was 7 years of it being established as a brand, processes being established and what have you, so that now when I took it over, running it as a separate business, what I was learning about was the administration, the finance, the non-service delivery, the non-billables, so to speak.
The business existed. There was business.
Yes.
Yeah.
So now with the hospitality side, it was something similar. We started the hospitality department around 2006, 2007. So by 2012, we felt there was enough demand for our services to spin that off as a separate business. Now, in our minds, that I felt that if I spin it off as a separate business, it is something that could run on its own. But some of the mistakes I made is the person I put in charge of that business was just a senior designer.
So they did not have a business mind.
No. So trying to get her to deal with HR issues and finances and whatever, we found we were still... So it's almost like how, as Planning Interiors now, you've got this child, you're sending off to boarding school or whatever. but they don't know how to wash their own clothes and what have you. So you end up going to school every now and then to spoon feed them.
Or sending the clothes back home.
Yes. So that business, the first 2 years we got a lot of work. We set up a separate team for it, including some expatriates that we had to hire for some of the projects we're doing. But we weren't looking at it from a business model perspective from day one. We're saying, okay, fine, here there seems to be a lot of demand for our services. Let us provide them. They need a certain caliber of service. Let's get the right people to do it. But we didn't spend enough time developing that business model. What I should have done in retrospect is incubated it as part of PL for longer before deciding whether to make it into a company or not. Because there are other liabilities that come. You have to audit it, there's shareholding and what have you. And then in 2014, I think the key thing for us is there was the Dusit bomb. Was it Dusit or Westgate? Westgate.
2013, I think, was Westgate. I think. Because it was in... No.
I think Westgate
it was the first year of
Yes, it was Westgate,
Yes, it was Westgate.
So for some reason, that adversely affected our business. Because you remember that bombing and all the scare around security affected tourism numbers. So people who had plans to renovate this hotel, to do this and that, were put on hold.
They just put it on hold.
Within, I remember there was 1 month, Planning Interiors Hospitality lost 80% of its business in 1 month.
Wow.
2 of our major clients shut down their projects.
And said no more.
And here I was left, I had a monthly overhead of about 4 or 5 million shillings a month. This was about 11, 12 years ago. And at that time, planning hospitality, and then also the admin, account, and financing backbone I had built around that. I mean, we were a total team of 38 staff. My overhead that time was close to 10 million shillings a month, So it was like the bottom fell out. The other thing that happened around that time, we were doing a lot of work for banks. And around that time, I think there were some policy changes that adversely affected the bank's expansion
the interest
plans.
rates, I think.
Yes. So you find a bank that originally planned to do 30 branches, they cut it down to 5 or 0. So on both segments, the bottom fell out of our business. So I had to lay people off. I entered into debt because I had a certain overhead I was managing. And because I was not running the business properly, we hadn't built enough reserves. We had built some reserves, but we hadn't built enough to see us through. And I started setting aside reserves around 2009. But when business continued expanding, I started spending money growing the business instead of saving and investing money. So things you're told personally to build so that later on you have nest eggs. I was ignoring it because also the people I was listening to around that time were very expansionist. Take an overdraft, do this, do that. So you have business, etc., etc. So 2014, 2015 were very difficult years for us. I mean, we almost literally shut down. And for me, because of I was the founder and affected, I was also affected adversely because there's a lot of stress that came with it, financial pressure and what have you. And I even had to seek a little bit of counseling just to see myself through that period, So it was literally now trying to rebuild the business as well. So, but it took about 5 years getting out of that. So I had to lay people off. I got sued by 1 or 2 members of staff for not following. You have to be so careful when you announce redundancies. You
have to follow a very clear procedure.
Yes. So that was one of the benefits of the board I had, because I had a board between 2012 and 2014 when I dissolved it. So we formed a proper board. So I had audit. There are 3 divisions, I think. There's audit, HR, and something else. Risk, yes. So the HR team at 2HR, they helped us design the process for laying people off and doing things like that.
Okay.
But what I learned from then, I had a 7-person board. For a firm, our firm was a certain size, but we should have right-sized it. When I look at where we are, maybe we would have worked better with a small corporate advisory team of 3 or 4 people, focus on what's important. Because what I find like now, you don't need 2 or 3 HR staff people. You can hire a consultant.
Yeah.
So like now I work with Sandbox. I don't know whether you've heard of Sandbox.
Yeah,
Yes. So they have a whole litany of consultants. You need IT advice, get an IT. You need finance. And what we like about their model as SMEs is you agree on a very affordable retainer and they work with you. So like the HR consultant recently, she worked with us for 1 year. The finance consultant has worked with us for 2 or 3 years. So that way, the SME is able to afford a finance director level of expertise at an affordable monthly retainer. So looking back, that works better for me now than, because I also spend quite a bit of money on that board because I had to pay directors' fees, I had to do lunches and things like that. And I also found in the business, there's also resentment because, now your business is struggling financially and then they look at that big fat board over there and say, those are the
guys taking our money.
Taking our money, Because I'm also a director somewhere else now. And the business has been going through some difficult times. And sometimes when you speak to the CEO, you keep getting the feeling, because, they come and apply for salary increases. And, when at the end of the month when you send you allowance, it's just saying, that money I've been used to do.
Wow. Yeah, you're right. Because even now,
that's an aside.
there are 2 things you've touched on, which I'll just even speak to. Also now here, we also, as part of what we do, we just encourage people to start with 3. We never tell them to give a big one. And the 3 usually is you, one of them, a trusted friend, and then just get 1 independent director.
Yeah.
And then the second thing is what we've been doing now, especially as my center, is to be like now offer the same things you're saying, which is people from different expertise to help in with the SMEs. Because one thing we learned as a university, we have a lot.
Yes,
so just to give you context, we had 450 master's people graduate this year.
Oh, that's incredible.
That's incredible. And that's just 1 year. So if you just look back to our alumni, we have a lot of people that we are trying to, connect them back to help really the SMEs. On the other side, of course, we have faculty, which is me, Raymond, and the rest of my colleagues, who also have this expertise and need to, apart from sharing it in a class setting, they also need to put it out there and help, other companies implement. So we also on that journey of trying to help SMEs with specific talent and skills. And so it's very good to hear that at least. But this is very interesting as well, because you said for 5 years things were different or changed, and I'm thinking when now things are supposed to pick up, 2020 Corona. I don't know if
20. Well, no, that was another.
That's what I'm wondering. So I was wondering also, what happened in 2020?
It was another dip, but I think for us the difficult 2015 to 2020 years, I think we would not have survived if we'd remained at the size we were before the bottom fell out. So it was almost like 2015 to 2020 was an austerity measure season for us. So by the time COVID came, things were just a bit more difficult. But we were so used to things being difficult, it's like we soldiered through, so to speak. And in fact, if I remember that time, the main way we managed the difficulty of COVID is when people left, we didn't replace. So we contracted a bit further between 2020 and early 2023. And also now that we were sort of in recovery now, we were very careful about expanding again. So my concept of growth now is very different from 15 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Because 15 years ago, it was numerical growth. How many people, how much turnover. Now my focus is much more on profitability, because I realize as a business, if you're not profitable sustainably, you will not have a business, you know. The service delivery strategy has also changed, because like now, if I need 2 or 3 people for a large project I'm doing, like now I'm doing a project that is in different countries across Africa, I would hire only if I absolutely have to, because now I have people I can hire on contract to come in and do. HR, I'll engage Sandbox. Finance, I get specialty. If I need 3-dimensional visuals, there's a whole host, a number of whom I've trained and I've worked in my company and are now out on their own. It's much more cost effective to hire people on a project related basis than to deal with the difficulties of employing people. Because even when you look at the laws and, it's much more employee supportive, which is expensive for SMEs, So you're much more careful about just hiring 10 people off the bat.
So very interesting. So your philosophy of growth moved from numerical to profitability.
Yes.
But in there, you kind of have made yourself, for lack of a better words, vulnerable to potentially working with consultants and others.
Yes.
Isn't that risky? Did you find that risky? Because here you kind of want to own XYZ, and also by exposing your finance to other people, isn't that exposing yourself too much to outside people?
Or the risk-reward trade-off is worth it?
Yes, it is. I'll explain the finance one.
Yeah.
You also don't go with just anyone. You sign NDAs.
Okay.
Like the finance person I still deal with until today is someone who was referred to me by a close friend.
So this one is not from the consulting company?
He wasn't with Sandbox initially, actually. He's someone who joined, and then after about a year of working with us, he became part of the Sandbox networks.
Okay.
Sandbox is a network of small consultants. Yes. So he joined that. In fact, he's the one who introduced me to Sandbox. So I said, okay, fine, with HR, we have an HR, my colleague, come and see you. If it's IT, so-and-so comes and sees you. So there has to be a trusting component. What we're doing now is we also have a service level agreement with our associates. So, for example, if I'm hiring an architect, that person has to be referred either as a former employee of PIL or planning systems, or is someone who's referred by one of my members of staff. So there's some vouching as well. So we also, in our contracts, also have tried to strengthen them to protect us to some extent.
So this is a pathway, actually. So when we are talking to SME or SMEs who are listening, they can consider growth, not necessarily numerical, but using this kind of approach.
Yes, absolutely. Because numerical growth now, the business environment has changed. Even for us as designers, now as with the advent of AI, like the recent, I was watching something where even with music now, people are AI produced artists and music. Our field is not far behind. We are already using AI for some of our presentations, for the interiors work we do. So the days when I look at my particular profession, strategy would dictate that we actually become more, not less specialized. We
strategy would detect to get to be more
specialized than generalized.
This is over the last 20 years, because one of the things you said in the first session is competition has really increased in the last 20 years.
So it's a number of things happening at the same time. Because like for me, I'm 60 years old now. I've been in this industry for 37 years. So most of the other firms we're up against, we found in a number of places, because a lot of projects we have to pitch for them. We have to compete for them. Much more keenly than we did 15, 20 years ago. A lot of the firms that are coming up I've never heard of before, because you see now the critical mass now is millennials, actually. The other thing I've also found for myself, as a consulting firm, a lot of the business we get is because of the networks I have. But at my age, most of my networks are retired people on the golf course and are now directors or chairmen. They're not the MDs or the heads of departments anymore. So it's almost like my rainmaking ability now, time has passed. So when I think of what the future of PIL is, it may be something totally different from what I envisaged, say 10 years ago, because of the way the market is,
Tell us a bit about Planning Interiors Limited and what you do. Maybe there could be people who they want to get your services.
And is it only, can you do my grandmother's house?
That's the first thing everybody asks. And I said there's a distinction. Doing your grandmother's house is something called interior decoration.
You see?
Okay.
The problem of missing the first
No, I
session.
heard they said there's a distinction between interior design and interior decoration. Okay.
Yeah, interior design is more technical, and I usually use the analogy of because most people are pretty familiar with what architects do.
Yes.
So if you take an office building, so the example I gave was Citibank, for example. So we did the work with Planning Systems, our former parent company. So Planning Systems designed the structure, the enclosure of the building.
Yeah.
We designed what was inside.
Yeah.
So it's basically that. So most of the interior design work we do is for corporates. So if it's an international organization, local companies, we do a lot of work for banks as well. We've done work in the healthcare industry. You know, we've done some work on hospitals, education institutions. So it's a much more wide range of technical services to provide. But you see also what has happened as well is interior design as a profession has become much more sophisticated. So a typical project for a corporate will not only just be the paint colors on the walls and the furniture. It will be partitioning, it will be security, it will be branding. We work with engineers on most of our projects because you're talking about electrical, you're talking about IT, you're talking about data. If it's ceilings, you've got air conditioning and lighting. There needs to be coordination so that it looks good. With meeting rooms and conference rooms now, there's a lot of audio visual because of video conferencing and what have you. So you find if you take a typical office budget of say 50 million shillings, you find at least 25 million shillings of that is services. So you find the furniture will be about 15%, the look and feel bit will be about another 10%, and security, electronic security. So as a profession in service delivery, it has become a much more technical project. So even the way it's delivered, because now for most of our time, we've been the managers of the projects. But on medium to larger size projects, we are finding clients hiring project managers as the lead, because at the end of the day, people are getting more educated about the nuances of these projects and have the project manager coordinate all of us, including us as the interior designers. So what's happening much more often on large projects, you have the project manager who's the lead consultant. Us, we become second as the interior designers. If it's a big project that involves buildings as well, so to be project manager, then architect and interior designer, and then the other consultants below. So it's become more complex and intricate. So we're saying, okay, fine, can we actually become more specialized in interior design because more people you're getting more project managers, you're getting more engineers. Sustainability and ESG is becoming an increasingly important component of projects. So we work with consultants like that. If you're doing work in industrial area, like for BAT or EABL, health and safety components are becoming increasingly critical. And those feed into the way we design, not only aesthetically, but technically as well.
Interesting.
Yeah, so there's quite a bit of that going into it.
Okay, so how can they reach you if they need to?
Yes, we're on social media actually.
Okay, you're on social media?
Yes, we have a website,
So www.planninginteriors.com.
We're also on Facebook and
You're on
Instagram.
Okay.
Planning Interiors.
So the people can search Planning Interiors.
Planning Interiors.
Limited.
They'll get us on all our social media channels. There are also contacts on there.
Okay.
Please feel free.
And you're on
Rochenmeyer Place, second
Lenana
floor,
Road.
Lenana Road. That's 10 minutes away from Yaya Center.
Oh, it
That's
is.
hilarious.
Yes, and we've been there for 22 years.
I mean, just because one of the biggest things we are having, and this is it's a general conversation, not specifically to you,
Yes.
is are our younger people seeing the value of design school? Why I ask that is because UN has this design school, which has, as you talked about the DSK, so it has interior design. You join in design, then you major interior, fashion, and I don't know if they get the opportunities that are there, which is very interesting after hearing.
I think a lot of people are, because I was even part of advisory. I don't know whether you set up an interior design course here. There was a plan to do so.
Not to my knowledge.
I think we have communication
Do we have interior? Not to my knowledge. I don't think so.
Because the curriculum was even developed. So they invited me and a few other people to a panel discussion here last year.
Maybe in hospitality there is some.
I think it's under hospitality.
It's under
I think it's under
hospitality.
hospitality. And they developed a full, I think, 3 or 4 year curriculum. So they'd invited us industry people to feed into and give feedback. And I think what was almost unanimous was that technically the course covers everything.
Yeah.
But the reality in this country, as opposed to maybe studying to become an interior designer in the US, where the US interior design is an established profession with lots of firms, medium, large size. Here, if you do interior design, if you're not hired by my firm or 2 or 3 others, you are most likely going to go into business for yourself. And there's hardly anything here that teaches
how to do
people
business.
how to do
Okay, we need to do a parting shot now from him. Any parting shot, anything you want the SME to think about?
Yes. No, I just want to think, because when I got the email, I don't know how I received it, and I jumped at it because I felt, for me also in my next phase, I also want to get involved in helping equip people in the creative economy to become better businessmen.
Nice.
Because I think from my experience having run this business, and even when I look at my former employees, hardly very few of them have really succeeded, even though they're very talented designers in building businesses for themselves. And like we're saying, the core problem is, why it needs to be looked at nationally, is that if we don't strengthen and empower SMEs, our employment problems are only going to continue to multiply. You know?
Wow.
Fantastic.
So I'm really passionate about these intersections and actually looking for ways in which, you know, I can plug in. Yes.
You need to think about having a session for interior designers.
Yes. So
because we've had a session for schools.
Yes. So we've
hotels.
had 4 breakfasts on growth, mergers, and acquisitions. So 2 are for schools. One was on restaurants, and another one was on health care facilities. So we are really focused. We really decided to do breakfast focused on industry. So the nuances are brought out.
That would be very useful. In fact, what I'd is connect you now with the 2 organizations. There's the Interior Designers Association of Kenya, because you're looking at databases, and then there's the Interior Design chapter of the Architectural Association of Kenya.
Interesting.
Is to get a cross section of people.
Okay.
The other thing we also suffer from is, because we are creatives, a lot of us think ni yangu, because we are artists. We do things ourselves. We don't like being told what to do. Is the concept of partnering with other people
Is a problem.
Because one thing I find, because I been to the US a number of times, very rarely would you get an individual interior designer. All interior design firms, you find there are 2 or 3 people. You find one, maybe the expert in design, but they are more often than not partnered with someone who's very good at marketing or someone who's very good at operations or finance. You know, no one is a one person fits all. So this mergers and acquisitions may be a bit advanced because if you think about it, me at a 16-person firm, one of my ex-directors has a firm that's probably bigger than me. We're not talking about Kenya. We're talking about East Africa. These, mine and my ex-directors, are the largest interior design consulting firms that we know of in East Africa. What does that say about our ability to grow businesses? And it's not because there's a shortage. I mean, people are churning out. It's not just campus. There are also other schools. There's Kenya College of Interior Design. There are others. If you guys are going to set up that course as well. So you have, when I did design in 1987, we were 14.
1, 2, 3 to 14.
14, yes.
Like
and of those
OMP.
14 people, because we still do reunions, only 2 of us are still in design.
Everyone else moved to something else.
Because they don't succeed in building a business out of their creative talent. People end up doing other things. So it's a
Interesting.
huge gap.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Eugene. This is SME Unleashed. We've come to the end of the episode. My name is Dr. Edwin Obonyo from Strathmore Center for Value Investing.
And this is Raymond Mutura from the Center for Research in Organizations, Work and Family. And our guest has
Eugene
been...
Ngugi, Planning
Eugene.
Interiors. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you.
guys.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate
Asante sana.
Yeah. Tune in the episodes. See you soon.
it. Okay.